Hello YouTube, my name is Flightsimguy and I'm here to tell you do not upgrade to Windows 10. Alright, so today I'm doing my second flight in my California series in the Cessna Citation X. Let's talk about Windows 10. In my last episode, I think I mentioned how Microsoft is getting sneaky, essentially tricking people into installing Windows 10, and they did that with me. They switched around the functionality of the closeout box, the X box in the right corner that keeps reminding you and keeps nagging you to upgrade to Windows 10. Well, they switched it around where the X, clicking it means you actually consent to it, which is the reason why you wake up the next morning and Windows 10 is on your computer. Now, for most people it works fine, and for me it did initially, but suddenly weird things start happening. A couple of my applications wouldn't, they just crash, for no reason. FSX in my last video, in case you have noticed, was stuttering, and it took me about 20 minutes to get this damn thing loaded. I kept having to reboot, uninstall or disable stuff that I put on since I upgraded. Anyhow, the point is Windows 7 is rock solid. That's probably the best operating system Microsoft has ever put out. And despite the fact that Microsoft doesn't sell it anymore on retail shelves, and it's not offered with new computers, it's going to be in support for a long time, at least through 2020. There is a tool that will change the registry setting in your computer that will disable, forcing you to upgrade, and you just won't hear anything about it. I suggest you go ahead and run that tool. If you want, go ahead and ping me, and I'll give you the link for it. But the point is, Windows 10 is causing issues for me. Anyway, back to the flight here from LAX, from Los Angeles International Airport, for my first flight, and today I'm flying to Bakersfield. Now, according to the flight plan, it's a short flight. Bakersfield from San Francisco is only 237 miles on the ground. So we're looking at a flight time of less than an hour. See, it's stuttering again. Lessons learned, don't upgrade to Windows 10. Anyway, as I was saying, San Francisco to Bakersfield in California, less than an hour's flight. Flight plan is really short. So let's go ahead and get going. I have Active Skynex running. I've set the time to the actual time in San Francisco. Oh, weather needs to be Active Sky theme. There we go. Parking brake is set. Let's just go ahead and the run up, or the startup, is very simple with regards to getting power going. Battery 1, battery 2. Come over to my APU, get this started. Okay, there we go. And then we come over here, turn on our avionics, stand that power on, and we need to initialize our position on both flight management computers. And it's still stuttering. Then down here we'll align our INS gyros. Now another thing, this aircraft, the Eaglesoft Cessna Citation X, I have both FS9 and FSX version, and the FMS database for both aircraft is stored in the same location, which is a problem because when I look in Navigraph, the FS9 is updated, but the FSX isn't. Alright, so let's go ahead and program this thing. I got my flight plan up on the other screen. Our destination is going to be KBFL. Make sure I'm recording. Yes. And our first waypoint is wages. Our next waypoint is Clovis. And then our next waypoint is Schaefer. And our final waypoint is the Meadows VOR KBFL. Let's do our initialization. Enter our fuel. Passengers is actually going to be 5 at 190. Okay, let's get a weather report.
Airport information, Alpha 2259 wind 284 at 13, visibility greater than 20 miles.
Alright, let's go ahead and go to ground. And Bakersfield, according to the flight plan, it's way south. Alright, so Bakersfield is way south of LA. In other words, I'm pretty much flying back to LA, which is fine. 28 left. Takeoff. We are going from departure. 28 left. And we just activate that, and then we can go to performance. Takeoff. We'll put our winds at 284 at 13. Okay, confirming it. Look at our flight plan. Make sure everything makes sense. And it does. Relatively short flight. Takeoff. I think I've already configured that. Next, let's go ahead and do our V speeds. Takeoff. Okay. And our gyros still have not aligned, so let's go ahead and they have aligned. There we go. Yes. Do this. Oh wow. My Easy Dock isn't working. My Easy Dock is not working. Well, guess I'm just gonna have to run without Easy Dock. Alright. Okay. Luckily for me, those are already set. Alright. Altitude. By the time we get up to our cruising altitude, we're gonna have to start descending. Take it up to 33,000 feet. Okay. And I think at this point I am ready to start my engines. So let's go ahead and give it some bleed air. And left engine start. Alright, left engine's up. Go ahead and turn those off. Let's do the right engine. Okay, right engine's going. Let's go ahead and turn on our lights. Turn off the bleed air. Set our trim. Set flaps.
Slats extend. Flaps 5. Flaps 15.
Flaps 15. And let's do a quick run through the checklist. In fact, I don't need my APU on. At this point, I can go ahead and just turn it off. See what our lights look like. Take off. There we go. There is a button down here for warning lights that you can test, which I think is this one right here. Can go ahead and test all of them, but there we go. V-speed's computed. Altimeter needs to be set to 29.85. Before taxi, flight controls. Make sure my rudder is good. It is. Stick is good. I am good to taxi. Alright, so let's go ahead and look outside, make sure there's nobody behind us. I'll go ahead and turn on progressive taxi. Oops. Shift P. Alright. My trim is set. Flaps are set. And once I take off, I'll be flying heading approximately 120. So I'm going to be making a left turn after autopilot's been engaged. Yeah, I got to waste a taxi here. I tell you what, if there's one thing that you can do much easier in the real world is taxi. Taxiing in FSX is a big pain in the butt, no matter what plane it is. Oh man, I got a lot of taxiing to do. Anyway, so and with regards to the Navigraph issue, I wrote an email to Eaglesoft, and they actually responded, and they didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. Both planes share the same instance of the Navigraph data, but for some reason only the waypoints in FSX, I'm sorry, only the waypoints in FS9 appear to be correct. There we go. Now before we call for clearance, let's go ahead and stop, put parking brake on. Get back in the cockpit. I want to monkey around with these buttons here. Something tells me MFDWX. Okay. I want to say map MFD. There we go. So you can scroll through your waypoints. Okay. This is good. This is good. So you can use these buttons here to scroll through your waypoints and to test your flight plan. Obviously, if I'd read the instructions, I'd have known that. I have to tell you, every time I do anything in this damn application, I'm just crossing my fingers that nothing crashes. Tower. Let's get out of here. Okay.
Traffic.
Oh, fuck the love up. Okay, let's see who's on final. I don't see any. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Interesting observation. I was doing some plane spotting on VATSIM the other day. There seemed to be a lot of activity around Orlando. And the modeler matching in vPilot, it tries to do a good job of matching up the planes. But when it doesn't, it appears that just about every other plane is a Bombardier CRJ700. Like that one. Yeah, I see him. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright. And there's some mountains down there, so I'm going to have to really climb before I turn on the autopilot. Alright, let's go. There's that stuttering again.
San
80 knots. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Come up 1 notch flaps. Autopilot is on. Heading. Come up 1 more notch flaps.
Flaps up. Slats retract.
Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and initiate vertical speed, put our nose up in the air. I know there is some terrain around here. I want to make sure I avoid that. Okay. Take it down to climb, which is about there. And at this point, I can go ahead and come right to about 120. Come left. There we go. We're nice and clean.
Cisco Tower, United 930, 58 miles southeast, inbound ILS, runway 28.
I don't need to be hearing that.
United 930, transfer.
Autopilot's on. I don't need icing. My fuel's good. And landing lights, I'll turn that off after 10,000 feet. And I'll monitor my pressure. Alright, we've got a good climb. Need to come left a little bit more to 090. That will get me on track with my course. At which point I can enable the flight plan or the FMS to manage the autopilot. Alright, let's go ahead and turn off landing lights. We're clean on the flaps. Gears up. Alright, we're in good shape. At this point, I can go FMS and nav, and that should take us on course. We'll go ahead and increase our vertical speed a little bit. I'll keep our forward speed in check. And there's the old San Francisco Bridge, Golden Gate, and we're looking good. Since we have that in order, we can take a look at our plan. Progress. 36 minutes to our destination, 225 miles. And our flight plan, wages is our next waypoint. Alright, so while that's happening, let's do some planning. Let's go to KBFL and take a look at the runway diagram and get a weather report. The thing about flying is, once you get the basics down, flying bigger and more complex jets is not necessarily more difficult. You just have to scale up to it. Often that means planning ahead. KBFL. So at this point, the plane's in a nice cruise climb. So rather than just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, I can actually go on and look and see, okay, let's start planning my descent, let's start planning my arrival. Now Bakersfield, let's take a look at this. Need to make sure that this runway is certified for this aircraft. It's a 10,000 foot runway. Yep, that's plenty. In fact, there's two runways, a 10,000 foot runway and a 7,000 foot runway. This plane can land on either one easy. I wonder, is it possible to change this person's face? Because if it is, I'd love to know how to do that. You can just go ahead and put somebody else's face on there. If you look real carefully, you can see that you can actually see the texture lines. Okay, am I overspeeding? I don't think I am. I should double check. This plane can run away with you if you're not careful. Oh, look at that. Ain't that a beautiful thing? which means I can go ahead and make my turn. Okay, landing lights should be on. Some left rudder. Alright, I'm getting kind of high. Alright, coming into the glide slope. Alright. Okay. And below the glide slope. Oh wow. There it is over there. Alright. One more notch of flaps. Where's my co-pilot? You're down. Alright. This is above me. Altitude. Okay. And flaps 5. Flaps 15. My co-pilot that normally calls out all this stuff, he died too, along with the moving map and everything else. Let's see if we have this much trouble tomorrow. Alright, there we go. Red, you're dead. So I need to go ahead and put some gas. Okay, climb. I'm about 1,000 feet. Okay, let's maintain this. Those lights don't look right. I'm coming at the right heading.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
There's something I don't know, buddy. That runway looks weird. Is it sloped or something?
Don't sink.
Yeah, it's got to be sloped. Alright.
Don't sink.
Full flaps. It says I'm low, but the orientation looks like I'm coming in steep. But according to this, I'm below the glide slope, which means this runway is sloped towards me. That is so weird. I've never done this before. Alright, I can go ahead and lower the nose a bit, pick up some speed. My gear is down. Below the glide slope again. I've never seen a runway like this. Oh wow, this is so cool. Or weird. The right word. There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. Mark a beacon. Alright, I can go ahead and put her down here. Co-pilot's back. 60 knots. Air brakes in. Stuttering. Alright. We made it to Bakersfield. Alright, let's go ahead and stop here. Yeah, something is really causing performance issues with FSX. I'm gonna have to look into that. Stop it! Flaps up. I think what I want to do is the next flight I'm going to use FS9, which is going to be from, it's going to be from Bakersfield to San Bernardino, and this stuttering of FSX is not acceptable. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to have to fix it. Alright, let's go ahead and park over here. A lot of stuff over there. This must be that scenery thing that Drew had me download. There's guys over there standing up and everything. There's a spot right here. Let's park right here. Yeah, Bakersfield must be in that list of Orbix stuff that I installed. Look at all the stuff. Look at that. Nice little domestic terminal and everything. Alright, that park job is not acceptable. Yeah, I can do better than that. There. How's that? Alright, there we go. That's a better park job. Alright. Let's hold the brakes and let's see if I can get some decent replays. Ah boy. Alright. Got some good replays, and while I was doing the replays, got some lessons learned. Well, in the meantime, while I talk about lessons learned, let me go ahead and power this thing down. Alright, let's go ahead and kill the gas. I didn't turn my APU on. Oh well. Turn these lights off. Turn all these off. Alright, so I figured out what the problem was. The lights are over here. Right, so the problem is Windows when Microsoft integrated and marketed Windows, they marketed it as a cloud operating system. And you're probably thinking, so what? The hell does that mean? Turn off. Damn it. There we go. What it means is there's an option in Windows where when you log in, and as you can see, my PFDs are stuck. Oh well. Everything's turned off though. You can configure Windows 10 as a cloud operating system of sorts, where your login credentials to your computer is the same as your Microsoft Live account. And what that means is your Windows PC with Windows 10 is tied in to your Hotmail and your OneDrive and your Skype account. Everything's integrated. And when it's set up that way, once you've logged into Windows 10, it has a permanent, or it's tied to the cloud account, and that's what's causing the stuttering. I did some research, and evidently that stuttering only occurs if you're connected to the internet. What you got to do is, it's called the Ultimate Windows Tweaker 4.1.1, and what that does is it allows you to tweak all the various configuration settings in Windows in one simple tool rather than doing it yourself in the operating system. And evidently what this gentleman did, and he posted it on Reddit, you download the tool, you run it, and then you go to the privacy setting and disable everything. And by disabling everything, I guess the operating system doesn't have to phone home to the cloud all the time, and that fixes stuttering issue. So I downloaded the tool. I'm going to go ahead and run it on my rig and see if that fixes all the issues I've been having with Windows, with FSX ever since I installed Windows 10. This issue with the PFD freezing, that's an issue with the add-on. I think my next flight I will go ahead and do from Bakersfield to San Bernardino. I'll go ahead and do that in FS9. FS9 is a lot more stable than this. That said, I think I was able to recover nicely. FS9, by the way, if it looks like my parking here doesn't look the same as it was before, there's a good reason for that. With FS Recorder, FS Recorder leaves you wherever you stopped recording, and I stopped my recording shortly after I touched down over here. So when I did the replay, that's why it reset my plane and I had to taxi back here again. So anyhow, so that's how that is. And I think you know, all things considered, I was able to salvage that in a relatively decent situation. So alright, I'll go ahead and leave it at that for now. Flightsimguy here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.